how you doing? No, I was awake this whole time. It's not like I was sleeping in my sweat jacket and had full makeup on. Yeah, I have to still do my Halloween review. I've been really bad with my reviews lately, but you know. It is how it is, but I'm ready for Black Butler Season 2. I mean, it's terrible, but I'm ready. And wait, what? I was always doing Black Butler Season 2. What other show would I... Amnesia? I never even heard of a show named Amnesia. I know the game. Do you want me to review... Anime? What? Anime? Amnesia? That I watched it? Then... What? I don't know what you're... Demon, back to the depths of hell with you! Back! This Halloween I am brought from the deepest depths of Tartarus. The creation spawned from Satan's torture room, only given to the biggest antichrist of humanity. Made Hitler, power, Attila the Hun, we've been done. Visual novels. For those of you who don't know, visual novels, or in this case girl games, not to be confused with gal games, hentai games, are technically video games, and I use the word video game in the loosest way possible, where usually the main goal is to choose and capture the heart of one of your love interests. Visual novels tell a story with you once in a while, making choices in what you say or do so you can get a slightly deviating ending. Most of the time, the difference in ending is which character you end up with. Though I'm not well versed in the subject, I know enough to get the gist of the gameplay. Read the text, choose an option, profit. And really, the purpose of these games are kind of sad, being their main use is to simulate the affections of a partner. Which is why I'm not secretly trying to create my own collection of them. Or if you go for the dirtier ones, it's pretty much choose your own ending porn. Profit. So why the discussion of a game genre that only gives otakus more of a reason to avoid human contact? Because they make anime out of it, and this is where it gets weird. Well, not weird, more like awkward. See, the big draw with many visual novels is the ability to choose your own ending. You play to see a happy outcome for the character, who is usually given your name, and want them with your chosen female or male. For the sake of the anime in question, let's stick with male. And as we all know, variety is good. And most games give an option of choosing 4 or more characters with differing personalities. Well, in the end, they usually follow the visual novel archetypes, but still variety. And no one man is really a main hero. I mean, sure, there may be a boy on the box with a bigger image than the others, or other suggestions to make him the main love interest. But whilst playing, it ends up being whoever you want. So when making a show out of it, it's really hard to create a storyline. You want to involve the arcs of all the possible love, so you can be as close to the game as possible, and that the people who did not choose to follow the main boy storyline are able to see their favorite boy from the game in the show. But at the same time, you don't want to make the main character seem like a heartless player choosing boys at their will and throwing them away, because we all know how that turns out. So what usually happens is honestly kind of awkward, because the anime just kind of pretends the other boys don't exist while one by one they go through each of their Bishi arcs, and then by the end of each arc, rather than reaching a romantic relationship as the game intended, it reaches this weird friend zone area. But that's really something for another time, and we'll leave it at that for now. So Amnesia, I have not played the game, so don't expect me to talk much about it, and I know the game is supposedly better, or worse, I get mixed reviews, but I really hope it is. Amnesia is a game that I can see so desperately trying to deviate from the norm, and it does in a really,
really bad way.
Here's the plot. The heroine wakes up on the morning of August 1st with no memories. Everything's gone, her name, her family, friends, nothing.
Because she has amnesia! Like the title says! If you didn't get that already! I know it's really clever thinking here.
A boy then suddenly appears in front of her and introduces himself as a spirit named Orion that only she can see or hear. And she doesn't think she's going crazy because... plot. The spirit apparently bumped into her while visiting her world, causing him to become attached to her body and inducing her current memory loss. He says that he will help her regain her memories, but prompts her not to tell anyone about her predicament for her well-being and suggests she try to adapt to her daily life without letting others know of her condition. Let me say that I have faced some really misleading advertising for this show. I was seriously led to believe from the plot and hype that this was going to be a somewhat darker type of reverse harem, with the main character realizing more and more about her past.
And technically she does, but she doesn't.
The show just leads to her trying to figure out her relationship with the other characters, i.e. who is her boyfriend. Cause yeah, when I just wake up with no memories, my first thought isn't my name, parents, or who I really am. No, I want to know which hottie I got like a player. And then the show would build up the story for a seemingly dark tone. It would drop hints suggesting that there was something dark or sinister going on, like, I don't know, one of them killed her father or wrote the script to Black Butler 2. Even the music would be used to create some of the mysterious tones of the show, but in the end it really led to some really underwhelming explanation. Well, except for Tomo's arc, which honestly made me reach some serious levels of discomfort. And I guess Ukyo's, but even that kind of made me go, it's like if you were in a dark hallway, with the lights flickering and thunder is heard outside. You walk a little along the way and soon find a trail of blood. You follow the trail while the lights begin to flicker more and more. You hear a faint laugh and faint footsteps coming your way. You go along only for the sake that there is no other way to go, and you want to know the source of this chaos. You reach the end of the hallway. The lights give out, and then suddenly you're bathed in light to find your friend, covered in paint. Yeah, apparently some jerk threw some paint on him and he came here to sulk. The lights were flickering because of a broken fuse, and the laugh was his ringtone. See the problem here? The suspense didn't meet the outcome. I mean, sure, you're sad your friend had some paint thrown on him, and it was an inconvenience, but all the build-up earlier was honestly not needed. You were led to believe something that wasn't, and it turned out to be really stupid, actually. The show was altogether a longer version of this, giving hints and suggestions of mystery and suspense, but leading to conclusions that were really dull when you think about it. I can't really explain the frustration it gives without giving an example from the show, so I'll just say, it sucks. And the only part where it got really interesting was toward the ending with the last two characters, and they were also the most uncomfortable, but this was mainly because of the way the main character handled the situation. Oh, and remember how I mentioned the main character can't tell she has amnesia? Want to know the reason? Are you ready for this? Are you really ready for this? No, are you really ready for this? Because you may think you're ready, but you aren't. Okay? Okay. It's because she would be sent to the hospital. No. That's the actual reason. Because in this world, whenever a person has amnesia, they are closed off from society and kept from any and all human beings. And if she were put in one, her condition would get worse. Okay, first of all, what kind of healthcare system does Japan have? No, I really want to know, because what medically trained doctor would think the best prescription for a person with no memories is to sit in bed staring at a wall? No, seriously, let's even think in TV logic. What show or movie has ever had an amnesia patient locked in a room to help them remember their family and friends? Even Full House got that right. I mean, I can see what the show was going for, I really do. But, no. I won't accept this. Just because it would be cool to have a person with amnesia not be able to say that they have amnesia doesn't mean you should make a show out of it, especially when you come up with half-baked reasons like this. All this adds is unneeded padding to the show, forcing us to watch Damsella stumbling through her day when this could be easily avoided by her saying, "I don't know you people!" And then half of the boys figure out she has no memories. I mean, you have to be pretty stupid not to know when your friend doesn't remember your name. And it doesn't even help the so-called mystery element other than making things more stupidly complicated. So why? Oh well, so I didn't get the mystery I anticipated. Well, I judged the show based on the hype. But that's really my fault, and maybe there's something else in it, right? Like, the characters. Girl games are all about getting swept off your pixelated feet, and this anime should give a good example of this.
Here's where my previous bit of hope gets shattered by reality.
Amnesia has some of the most stock characters I have ever seen, and one of the dumbest heroines that has ever been my displeasure of following in a storyline. The main boys can really be found in any shoujo or visual novels. The jerk with the heart, the princely guy, the smart one, the big brother type, the nice guy. All of them really don't deviate from their first impression. Well, except for two, but I'll leave that to your viewing pleasure. Not saying they're terrible, they're just not unique. Making their actions predictable, and in the same case their story arcs. I can tell the ending to each arc honestly in the first 5 minutes, even the one no one probably saw coming for those who have seen the show, with the whole Toma thing. Yeah man, that just got weird. But I guess I can see the draw of them, and that's really why shows like these are created, I guess. And I even came to like one or two of them, sorta. Not really. And then her! Oh, your existence on this planet is solely to annoy me, isn't it? Every minute she's on screen is literally an insult to girls. No, woman. No, humanity. Notice how I have only referred to this she-devil as her. Or she. Well, that's because she wasn't given one. Yeah. One of the first tasks as a writer skipped over. Writing 101, guys, preschool level. And sure, this can be an avant-garde breakthrough, or some way to connect the source material, because in the game she is given no official name. So let's just leave it out. Creativity to the max.
Awesome. Awesome to the max.
And the saddest thing is, I didn't even really notice until I decided to write this review and failed to find a name for the supposed main character. This just shows my utter interest in her deep personality. This girl, to my utter amazement, has absolutely no personality or personality traits at all. Like, no, the writer seriously forgot to write it in, along with good storytelling. Like, people harp on Bella for not having a character. Well, compared to this girl, she's the Cleopatra of women. And then the show was also able to pull off her not having a personality and a brain as well. She lacks basic common sense. Basic knowledge is void to her, and the viewer is in constant agony of this. And it's not something comedic or cute like with other moe characters. No, she's just really stupid. And what I find funny is people often criticize Orion to be useless and annoying, and I'm not saying he's any Steve Hawkins here, but he is probably the character with the most common sense. Granted, due to the plot, he's often not found when he's really needed, but he was the only reason the heroine actually got anywhere. He made her observe her situation and actually attempt to handle it. He made her think when put in dangerous situations. He was the only one with a brain in that Toma arc! This girl wouldn't have done anything without him. She barely talks. Her dialogue consists of 4-word sentences max and gasps. And her hair. I don't understand. It's not possible. She is one of the worst written characters in history. And what makes it worse is since the show has a so-called mystery element, we are often put through the most boring and stupidly obvious internal monologues in which she figures things out. But what these moments really turns into are her noticing things the viewer realized episodes before, further showing her stupidity. And the blandness of her character makes these monologues all the more rage-inducing. And seriously, her hair, why? And that's the same with all the character designs. I will admit, though colorful, and I have heard people call it pretty, I just found it weird. The two-toned eyes and hair only reminds me of the lollipops I sold to raise money for musical theater club, and the outfits were out of place. It's obviously modern-day Japan, and only the main characters dress in this fashion, so yeah, it's eye-pleasing, I guess, but it's also off-putting and unrealistic. I don't really think people dress like they're late for an Alice in Wonderland retreat. Honestly, they look like the poster children for Hot Topic. The actual animation was standard, nothing worthy of praise. The music was lacking. Most of the tracks were overused and became noticeable in those synths, oh god. The opening was nice, I guess, but once again suggested a dark mystery only to be faced with the seriously mundane stupidity when the show started. The same with the ending, but I seriously hate the song. I could barely hear the singer, and the synth was terrible. It made my ears bleed to accompany my splitting headache from the absurdity in the show. And when considering dub or sub, who cares? In both cases, I can hear the cast trying to grasp characters from cardboard cutouts they were given, or just plain old cardboard. But I will say that one or two characters in the dub are amazingly terrible voice actors, which can make it either hilarious or annoying depending. So if you're a fan of that, I fully recommend it. But either way, with both the dub and the sub, it ends up with the voice actors grasping in the dark for their performances. I noticed no difference between the two. So, to sum it up, Amnesia goes on my list, and why in the name of God did the devil need to create this? It's bad. Just bad. Often laughably bad. The main character has the personality of air and the brain of lemmings. The story leads one to think it's something it's not, and disappoints in every aspect. It's just bad. Like, terrible. Sharknado bad. The only reason I would recommend it is if you watch it with a friend and treat it like The Room. But even then, the show isn't as good as The Room in laughability. It's stupid, it makes me half mad all the time. And the ending is probably one of the biggest cop-outs ever. I could not even properly explain the extent of the horrible this show features. And it's only 12 episodes. Like, how can you mess up that badly in 12 episodes? You have to be trying! So, rating this show based on plot, characters, animation, music, and my overall lack of enjoyment, I give it 3 two-tone Bishis out of 10. If you like this show and want something like it, I suggest Vampire Knight, Miracle Train, or Pandora Hearts.
I'm Brasley 101 ending this episode because I just want to forget.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my card. To catch them is my real test. To train. What happened?